So where are we now then? Certainly all around Europe, we are either 1 minute to midnight or 2 minutes to midnight, because they're introducing vaccine passports. Now, the only possible argument, I think, so public health argument for introducing this little bit of card to say you've been vaccinated so you're safer to be around is if those treatments reduced transmission to others. They do not. It's not in dispute. SAGE doesn't say so. The UK government doesn't say so. So please, you're not safer standing next to someone, in a bar that's been vaccinated. Not at all. And the government doesn't say so either. So why are they asking you to carry these things? And I'm afraid the answer is, again, like all the other stuff, it's all lies. It's all about control. They've sneaked it in. We've seen it in European countries. They're doing it now in the UK. So they'll start with places you probably don't go, like even my age, probably not going to nightclubs. So I'm not personally affected by the news that you'll need a vax pass. That is to demonstrate that you've been vaccinated before you can get into a nightclub. But that's how they do it. It's like dropping a cancerous cell in your body and you're not noticing because you're immunocompromised, and it grows and it metastasizes and then it kills you. And that's what this is going to do. So don't tolerate them anywhere in your country. The system will form itself, and I cannot see a way of removing them. Imagine an old lady going into Sainsbury's and they beat their vaccine passport to get in through the door. And I said, they don't do anything and they're backing away from me. And I'm saying, put your vax passes down, and they will feel at risk. Once these things are in your country and being used to regulate access to essential services like food, money, fuel, trains, and things like that, you'll never get rid of it. Even if you told people what I'm just telling you, never get rid of it. Because a third of them will think you're actually going to make their existence very dangerous. Got to stop it beforehand. Got to stop it. And I've been saying this for, I don't know, a year. And this is the last chance. If we let this go by and they're in the country, I just don't see a way of getting them out. You will lose the ability to decide where to be at any time. The vax pass will be used to regulate entry and exit from almost any controlled space, possibly even including your own home. And then the worst part, or not the worst part, but an additional part, you'll be required to keep your vaccine passport up to date by being fully jabbed. Don't use the expression. It's not fun, and it's not just a needle. So fully vaccinated means 2 injections, but it'll soon mean 3, then 4, then 5. So I wouldn't say that's the end of them, but you should assume if you go along with this, if you think, well, it's all right, it's a virus, it's not, is it? I mean, it's completely barking what they're doing, but that's what will happen everywhere. And I think gradually it will kill a lot of people. I don't know if it's really depopulation, but it's going to cause huge amounts of deaths. So 2 minutes to midnight. I don't really know how to stop it, except that I know that the more people who know that this is a con and are willing to say to other people, government's conning us, they're lying, they're not being straight. That's, in the end, that's about the only thing that'll work. I'm not seeing any signs of politicians in the UK. I don't know whether any of them have really sussed it. If they have, they're being cowardly. And if not, they're quite stupid. We did try very hard last year and got nowhere. So it's not going to be political leadership that will save us. I see no evidence from any religious community, with the possible exception of Judaism. I've spoken to 4 different groups of rabbis, and they've at least issued some statements that are extremely supportive of what we've been saying. So if it's not politicians and it's not the religious groups, it's us folks. And not even me. I can't save myself. So it's people who are listening. So whilst it's useful to have a reasonably good idea, sort of the big picture level, enough to know you're being conned and feel really angry about it, maybe to be able to convince other people that this isn't right. But then you need to go to act local, really. I mean, honestly, persuading people in the street, things like that, going to the pub and talking to people, it's the only way. So, one last thing I wanted to say. If the vaccines were about public health, which I've told you they're not because they don't stop you catching or transmitting it, and they injure you, some people anyway. If it was about public health, here's a few tests people who've already been infected with the virus, whether or not they got ill and have now recovered, we know there's over 100 papers confirming really solid natural immunity. These people would be excused. Why would you waste money giving them to someone who's already has superior immunity to anything you can get from the vaccine? Also, it's dangerous to vaccinate people who've already recovered from the disease in question. So that's not right, is it? They are injecting you, even if you've had it. They wouldn't give it to children either, because in the main, healthy children don't get ill with this virus. They don't die. And because they don't get ill, they don't transmit it either. But we're injecting children. It's awful. I just feel terrible. And then finally, if it was about public health, we wouldn't be injecting pregnant women. They have not completed what I call reproductive toxicology. We've no idea if this is harming babies in the womb or preventing eggs being fertilized, because the studies have not been done, and they've just lied to women and told them, oh, it's quite safe. So those are three good tests for you. So it's not about public health. What is it about? Totalitarian control. It's a control system. Here's the two last things I would say. It's totalitarian. So it covers absolutely every aspect of your life. There's no hiding place. It's permanent. Aldous Huxley said, scientific and technical tyrannies never go away. It's not like religious or political ones where you can get tired and kill them. Scientific tyranny is in place and it'll deepen. So it's permanent, totalitarian, and it's nearly here. I'll stop there.